We have divided the day into neat segments: mornings, afternoons, evenings, and nights. The nights are always dark, and it is always 12 o'clock. I am always myself, and that in itself is a desperate monotony.
Chaitali, you just said, hear those simple lines. But I have read that translating classics and all pieces are quite daunting and difficult.
Yes.
Because they wrote with other language, in other style. How was that process?
It was not simple at all. It was translating these two books were very challenging. In fact, everything about it was challenging.
I can imagine, yeah.
The first work of translation from Dutch into English, and whose work I was translating? Louis Couperus. He's a towering personality. He is the master storyteller, and he was very famous in his time. His fame during his lifetime had crossed borders, because in his lifetime his works were being translated into German and English.
Okay.
So my first and foremost worry, which was also a challenge, how am I going to do justice to his work in translation? That
Stayed
was my
faithfully, no? To
Yes.
the story.
Yes. And so that was my first worry. It took me a long time for me to convince myself that yes, I can do it. The second was his language, because he was writing at the turn of early 20th century, and his language is rooted in his time.
Yeah.
The language which I had learned in my language school, because Dutch is not my mother tongue, was absolutely not what Couperus had written.
Because you said that it was somebody here at the library that told you start with Couperus, but where was that moment that you said, oh yes, this is it, this is the work I want to translate? How was that story between you and Couperus?
So like I said, the story started here in this library. So I still remember the lady there at the reception advised me, if you want to know about Dutch authors, start with Couperus. I just saw like this the shelves, and I picked up those two books. I knew nothing about Couperus at that time, so I just took those two books, and so that was not a deliberate choice. And when I think back these days, I think probably the universe was guiding me to those books. So when I came back home and I opened the book, I immediately understood that this is going to take me a very, very long time to even finish reading these two books, because the language was almost 100 years old. These are short, fable-like stories, very delicate, very nuanced, full of descriptions, and they are giving you very deep philosophical meanings. He's talking about life's deeper questions, about fate, destiny, about karma, reincarnation, existence of soul. He's saying, in fact, that life comes from one big source. So that was a very powerful message of interconnectedness. The fragmented world where we live now, this is the message that needs to come out. And probably that was the time when I thought that maybe it will be good if these works could be translated.
And then when you finally took the decision, how the process started. Tell us how you translate a book from 100 years old in a language that is not your native language. How is that process?
Well, the process was not a very continuous, linear kind of a process. It was a lot of coming back, going ahead. First of all, it took me almost a year, if I remember correctly, to finish those two books. The spellings were different. He was using a lot of inversions in his in his writing, and the sentences were very long. So it's beautiful, you know. It's not. It's I don't know. I found it beautiful because it was like a musical train. I had to think, how am I going to keep this atmosphere that we have in the original and do not disturb it, but still make it accessible in English. That was not an easy task.
You said before that you like to bring the book now because of the talks and because the topics that they were discussed, like reincarnation and karma. Do you think that these new generations are interested in those topics, or how they will receive them?
That's a very interesting question. First, let me tell you that these two books are actually Couperus's not so known books.
Yeah.
His known books are the Stillagraph,
Okay.
Elena Ferrer. These books are very famous books. But what was he doing in these books? Those books are the reflection of his time. He was showing the colonialism, the culture clash, and the political landscape of his time in those books. But in these books, he is talking about deeper questions of life. He is talking about, like you said, karma, reincarnation, existence of soul, etc., etc. At first glance, it might seem that these are thoughts which are very distant from modern readers or modern, but it is not so. If you look at it, you will see that it resonates more than we realize. Couperus himself was very attracted to Eastern philosophies, especially Hinduism and Buddhism, and he was a follower of theosophy. What is theosophy? Theosophy is a movement which derives its concepts largely from the Eastern thoughts, right? So in my opinion, he was quite ahead of his time, trying to bring these concepts into European literature. He is using those concepts to ask timeless questions. How much of our life is governed by fate and how much of it is free will? Secondly, your actions. My action has consequence for me. Does it really? It has consequence for me, but till what point? He believes your actions doesn't have consequence only for you. It affects the entire world. So I feel that modern readers would, with their growing interest in spirituality, going back to nature, connecting with yourself, meditation, they will feel very connected with these topics.
Yeah, and maybe that's why the mayor asked that question, because you think that people in India will be more open or accepting the book easier than here?
In India, of course, he is not known, and that is not because of, it is not his fault, because the books were not being translated, and of course they cannot understand Dutch in India. So I am very happy to share that this book is now part of the National Library of India.
Wow!
It is such a big milestone for me, because I never dreamt that it could happen like that. And one of my dreams was, when I was doing this work, was to bring these two very dear countries very dear to me, to bring them together and make a kind of a cultural bridge, you know? And I could do that a little bit. And secondly, I could bring Couperus to India. That is what made me so happy, and it is a very fulfilling feeling for me. Couple of colleges in India actually have this book now in their collection, because it helps the students who research on European literature. The book has also been reviewed in Muse India. It's a literary journal, very peer-reviewed journal in India. So a professor has reviewed this book for that magazine, And yeah, I'm very happy that
Chaitali, what if you can choose something that the main takeaway for the readers in English from the book? What do you think that people will take from reading this translation?
His other works, his other more known works, he has spoken about the political situation of his time, or the cultural clashes at that time, colonialism, all those. But these two works, these are very unique. Unique because here you know about his own belief. What did Couperus as a person believe in? So that itself makes these two books very unique. If you want to know what went in his mind, he was one of the most beautiful minds of his time. And if you want to know what that person actually believed in, then you should read these books, right? So that is the best takeaway.
Are there more translations in the pipeline? There are more works of Couperus in your book list? Or what is happening next, Chaitali?
They say that a writer is never free, you know. A writer is never free. I'm also not free. So I'm currently working, but it is not a translation. It's a historical fiction I'm working on, and it is about one of the bravest queen in India who rose against the mighty British Empire and how she challenged the British Empire. So that is the historical fiction I'm working on it. But at the same time, there is a dream. There is a dream. I don't know when I will be able to fulfill that. The dream is to translate one more work of Couperus, but make it bilingual. Make it bilingual in the sense that the book will be in two languages.
Okay.
So the work of Couperus will be translated into English, and a work from India's national poet Rabindranath Tagore, his work will be translated into Dutch.
That's very ambitious.
There is similarity in their thoughts. They were contemporaries, and Tagore also visited Netherlands in 1920, just 3 years before Couperus passed away, but they couldn't meet. But there is a similarity of thought. There is a huge similarity of their thoughts, and I think if I can do that, that would really be one of the biggest things that I could do.
For sure you will be able to do it and surprise us again.